what was it? The Stizzy OG live resin plus keef infused.
Really?
A pre-roll, yeah. I just gave it a 97.5 out of 100. It was arguably the best infused joint I've ever had.
Okay.
Not arguably, it was. I said it was. It is.
There's no argument.
Yeah.
That was the fire. So right now, we're doing, if people have been following us on YouTube, Joey's been doing taste tests. This guy's been reviewing like 3 fucking products every single day, of all sorts of categories. A lot of pre-rolls, but definitely some flour and edibles.
Oh, dude, we're beverages, dabs, edibles, infused joints. We're gonna go through the 3 tinctures here. I'll have special guests, taste testing our tinctures so that way it's not biased. We'll be doing gummies, tablets, mints. I'm gonna do chips here soon. We're gonna do more flour. We already reviewed a bunch of flour aids. So there's a bunch of weed coming. You all just go subscribe to the YouTube.
The Respect My Region YouTube channel. Yeah, Joey is doing like literally 10 plus videos a week. I've got like maybe 2 going up there. I'm a baby with the content creation, but myself and our RMR Weed account is doing the taste test for up here in Washington. Joey's handling California. I would love to find someone. If anyone out there is in Oregon and wants to help contribute to this, we would love to have you. Just Joey being in LA, myself being in Seattle with the family in the middle of a pandemic, it's not as easy to get to Oregon as it used to be. So would love to bring anyone on down there that wants to review some weed. If you know someone, tap in. That would be much appreciated. What's up, Scott McKinley just tapped in. What's going on, sir? Dab Roast is killing it.
Killing.
Yeah, that's going out. So taste test reviews are going on heavy right now. What is some of the, I know you just mentioned the pre-roll that scored super high. What are some other notable products that you've reviewed in the last, couple weeks?
So let's see, what else was pretty good? We went to the lemonade store, got a limoncello that was old, but it still was okay. We did something at MMD over in Marina Del Rey the other day. Let's see, where else did we go? We did. Where did I grab it? Oh no, I got a king roll. Another infused joint I'm gonna do, and then I got some cans, the drink cans, the little social tonics. Those are delicious. The microdose CBD THC beverages. Those are pretty fire. But yeah, as of late, just really doing a bunch of flour. Got a dab. I'm gonna do a dab review here tomorrow of the Rick Ross Pink Rosé times Connected. I've got their Collins Ave strain that I've got in the dab, so I'm gonna try some of that exclusive cookies genetics times Rick Ross here tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that.
That just dropped, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I remember when they promoted that, but I didn't see I haven't seen anything about it dropping.
Yeah, it was available. I got it over in San Bernardino the day that it got there, just on accident. That's what happens when you show up early and stay late and just hit all your dispensaries.
That's funny. Rick Ross, as a hustler, man, I'm sure he's been working on this cannabis, connection for a while, and it took a pandemic of getting his touring bag fucked up for him to be like, all right, man, we got to get this shit launched ASAP.
I mean, they've been out for the last, the better half of the last year, and I haven't really heard much in terms of the flower. I feel like I see more hype behind the flower in other places except California.
Yeah.
But who knows? They're in multiple states. It's a brand. It's a strain. They're dropping fire. I'm sure it tastes good. I'm sure it gets you high.
Right. And, and on that talk, one of the main topic that we wanted to talk about today is cookies as a whole. It is the most popular brand name. It's probably the most cookies is probably the most popular name in cannabis altogether. It gets a lot of love, all over the country. Every store they've opened up, there's lines. Every product drop, there's lines. And it gets a lot of hate, as you and I know from a lot of the people in the industry. Dislike them for one reason or another. But anything.
Yeah, some people still feel like Burner and his people stole all the genetics and just ruined the core culture of it, and are the corporate evil that they say that they're not. Right? That's what some people say.
Right. Well, and their model, right, of licensing out, there's hundreds of farms that grow their genetics to supply each state. So, there's no possible way to quality control that as the way of a 10,000 square foot craft grow, and so a lot of the people that run those 10,000 square foot craft grows that touch every plant and are digging their hands in the dirt and feel really connected to the plant and believe that shows up in the quality, just everything about their ethos goes against the grain of Cookie's business model. And so there's just a lot of tension there. Which I can, as you and I can understand, right, as consumers that are in the top 1% of quality category, of education awareness and what we want to smoke on, we look for things that tend to be craft and more smaller grown because it's easier to produce ultra high quality products. But that still doesn't necessarily mean that the products are bad, right? Like even some of the worst cookie stuff is still great strains, the packaging, the experience, the consumer experience, right? The consumer packaged good experience around cookies is very, very high. But I will say, for the price point, at times there are for sure plenty of bags that you can buy at Cookies price point that are pretty subpar mid.
Yeah, at any given moment, there's a variety of options with their brand for sure.
But there's also some heat. Every time we've gone to a cookie store and bought 5 or 6 products, every time at least one of them ends up being, some of the most heat shit that I've smoked that month.
Yeah.
It's they put out quality genetics, and one of the things that I love that not a lot of people have talked about, they came up here in Washington, for example, and they were one of the first brands to kind of have a $60 eighth. Previously it's kind of 50 is your top shelf, and 45 to 55 is where it landed. Cookies coming out with a $65 eighth in Washington is unheard of. And what happened was then these other brands could now drop limited lines or exclusive lines and put them at the same price point. And it enabled them, because consumers were already coming in there and didn't have sticker shock of paying that price because they've seen that price associated with this product in other states. And it kind of created that conversation, right? Like where if people come in there and the bud tender's like, no, you don't want this cookie stuff, you want this stuff. It's the same price as cookies. It doesn't turn you off. You're willing to pay 60-65 for a brand you don't know when you're already paying 60-65 for
Yeah, people are definitely still when you're a connoisseur, you're still experimenting at various price points. Whatever your comfortable price point is, you about to experiment at that.
Yeah, and it raised, for a lot of these craft growers in Washington, I know that are upset about it. It raised their ability to charge price and opened up a new avenue, a new standard to be compared to, again, to crush, to meet, to exceed, to not make. It's a whole new conversation. And I've seen this from a business sense, and I'm surprised that more people, I don't know if have taken advantage of it and aren't aware of it, or haven't really quite tuned into it. But there's definitely a way for smaller craft grows to eat off of what Cookies is doing to the marketplace.
Yeah, facts.
And so, the history of it, I remember back in the medical days, right, when a lot of the strains I was picking up, I was getting from you that you were getting at the clubs and the markets, and you were putting me on to all this stuff. Cookies really broke into the market riding this train of the strains, right? Before they were a cannabis brand, the Girl Scout cookie strain from that camp got out and took over cannabis. Girl Scout cookies and the derivatives of it became the standard for cannabis that people sought. Pre-cookies, it might have been some fire, or you got perps, when we didn't really know what was purple. Anything that was purple weed, you could charge more for it because it was perps. At a certain point, cookies became that standard. Oh, is it cooks? Is that cookies? And whether people were lying about it or not, you could charge a premium for something simply because it was from a cookie's genetics. And
that was the old Sin Mints and Forum cookies and Girl Scout cookies and Bay Area cookies and Burner's Cut cookies. There used to be so many different things.
Right. And it's gone from that, right, and taking over the culture to ending up being a brand and an intellectual property that they were able to obtain and monetize, and now scale it out state by state, riding on the back of this history, this lineage. And then another thing I think people in the industry don't necessarily understand is that, you know, where most people need to pay for advertising channels, to pay to sponsor tours, pay to sponsor influencers and rappers to get their, you know, they have to actually be cool and have hype to be mentioned in music. You know, Burner is the ultimate influencer who owns the company. He's constantly touring the country where he can put tour buses and banners and flyers and t-shirts at, you know, and he's able to he's touring while making a profit. He's able to brand and market this company while profiting that, where other people
everywhere he goes in public, it's a Super Bowl if it's a music event. You know, at this point, his fans are diehard culture fans because of the music and because of the weed and because of the lifestyle, right? And so, you know, there was a period of time for me where, you know, I was more of a fan than, you know, a music fan than I was, you know, a cannabis industry professional, right?
Yeah.
And now, you know, it's interesting looking at it from the different perspectives, because you know, we've been a part of his stuff as marketers, as music blogs, as PR partners, as contest giveaway people, as creators, all kinds of different things we've worked with Burner's team, right? And always it falls back, like the root of the success falls back to, like, man, his music shit, his grind, then the weed shit amplified him right up there to the Wiz and the rest of Taylor Gang and the rest of the music industry shortly thereafter.
Right.
And I feel like a solid 7 years ago, he started planting the seeds in 2013, 2012, 2013. I think he really started planting seeds about, yo, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Like, you know, be ready in 2-3 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we've been doing, and that's what's happening, right? So it's like, it only makes sense if you have access to, like, more genetics and more people in the entire Bay Area and all Humboldt and all the, you know, the 3 counties and shit up there. Like, it only makes sense that you about to be making moves at a much higher level.
And what do you think? I mean, this is a, you know, a prediction, right? I've said it in numerous forums, but I believe that cookies will probably be the first $1 billion brand in cannabis. There might be funds or conglomerates or you know, stocks or what have you that reach that. But I think, you know, I personally think that cookies is going to be the first brand that'll be worth $1 billion. What do you kind of think the ceiling is for a brand like that in this space?
I mean, the ceiling is where we're seeing companies like Supreme, you know, companies like designer companies. You know, what is a designer fashion company going for these days? 1 billion, 5, I don't know. And so you'd have to think that a company that has multiple verticals with successful revenue streams and positive books and the ability to take on unlimited investment if they really wanted to, or if they really needed to, like, to take that big ass, you know, loan to go buy all the factories they could ever need. Like, at some point, it's going to tip in their favor, and they won't be able to be beaten ever.
Yeah.
And they'll just continue to steamroll and stockpile. And I'm personally excited for that day, because I think that was when we'll start to see more stabilization of genetics, more consistency. And yeah, that might blur out some of the culture, but it's up to the people to keep the culture alive. So.
Yeah, and I envision them at, you know, they're
Their weed
much
is
more
fire, bro. Their weed is fire.
Yeah, but much more. I don't mean this because I think, you know, but I feel like how Patron is an alcohol, right? And there's a lot of other things. Patron's owned by Paul Mitchell. I'm not trying to make those comparisons, but Patron as a product, you know, it's $100 tequila or $80, depending on wherever you get it. It's a premium product. It's got a status symbol attached to it. It's good tequila. It's not like, you know, there's plenty of other tequilas out there at $80, maybe craft or small batch or you know, brands that I would buy.
What's that tequila we used to work with?
Papa Bueno, they're pretty
Yeah.
solid. I mean, I would say Patron is a better quality than that, but I mean, there's, you know, as a consumer, there's tequilas I'd buy before Patron, but I still recognize Patron as it's good tequila. It's up there, and it's got this status and this thing attached to it where the experience, right? When you order a Patron shot or you buy a bottle of Patron, it says something more than just, oh, the price isn't just represented, and this is the quality level of the product. It's the quality level of the consumer experience, you know. And then again, that
Yeah.
doesn't degrade the quality, but it's not the most expensive because it's the best quality single-handedly. And I think that's where a lot of people from the culture kind of, you know, get mixed up in how they rate things or how they think of things. And it really is, you know, how we, well, and I'm not trying to put us on a pedestal, but how we've approached reviewing weed and looking at weed is really from a consumer perspective of you know, the experience of we bring elements of the culture and the history into that, but also elements of business inside of that.
Yeah, not everybody knows what we know, and a lot of times, having been a bartender previously, I try to really put myself in the position of the consumer when creating the review structure that we have. It's a combination of business, wholesale, B2B stuff, infused with a bartender review system with a dedicated focus of, all right, what will consumers really care about, right? How important, like it is extremely important if you recommend a product or not, right? To the success of the overall product, right? Selling through and continuously to sell. And then the way that people don't understand is if a product sells through, that's money proven to work in that community, in that demographic, wherever it's at, in that bag, in that method. And to double down on certain things, on certain strains because of that information is huge.
Right. And that's that's a great point, right? Like what goes into the why a consumer purchases something, you know, and is it always because of the quality, you know, and not just comparing it to cannabis, but any other thing. Does someone buy toothpaste off of, oh, this fucking Colgate, like this is small batch craft made,
Yeah.
all organic, the best toothpaste on the planet?
Well,
Or is it because it's the
I think
fucking
it's important to understand that we all buy certain products based on what reasons make the most sense to us at any given moment.
Sure.
So if you are a person who has consistent habits for grocery shopping, well, then you're probably going to go do a lot of that when you go grocery shopping and spend that money all at once because you can spend $200, $300, $400 all at once. If you're a little bit lower income, myself, other people that I know, whether it's now or in the past, it's like, yo, we're about to buy things here and there. I'm about to make special trips and just get it when it runs out and really stretch things out, right? And that's the same thing with cannabis. People buy cannabis with different styles, methodologies, different reasons, different consistencies, you name it. And so the key is to just you have to identify them at which part of like the purchasing, the consumer process are they, right? Are they the first time? Are they returning? And then when you segment from there, it really identifies so many other things, like I was just alluding to, all those other different indicators. Are they buying it again? What type is it? What price point is it at? Do they do that price exact deal multiple times? Is it that same strain? Is it that same flavor? There's so many little data points that you can really look into that it matters. And it really, really is overlooked. I was just reading a little report from Barry about that stuff, to be honest, and how the people that are marketing at the Google Near Me, the price conscious consumers that are on Weed Maps and Leafly, or the quick and easy, whatever, whoever's closest kind of consumers, those are just not the ones you want to aim for. You can get, it's like fishing. You can get lucky, fishing through a school of that here and there, right? On some of those low hanging fruits. And then most of the time, those people are still just purchasing based on how they normally would anyways. And you're not going to be able to pull them out. So that then becomes, can you create dedicated, funnels or baits or scenarios where you can attract new people in? Because at least here in California, the average spend is between like 62 and 76 at any given day, holiday, whatever it is. It seems. Sometimes it goes up to 80 to 90 depending on the delivery service.
Right.
But for the most part, I feel like the data would suggest that if you can get a first-time customer in and kill it, then they're gonna potentially spend a really, really strong first-time spend if you convince them and what they need and you help them. And then if you get them to come back, or loyalty or whatever it is, on another day, you might get them for twice as much because of how much you killed it and how much you educated them on that first go.
Right. And even still, right, like a lot of people talk about how much the bud tender is a lot of people believe that the bud tender is like the sole responsibility of the consumer selection. And you know,
they're important, but you know how many dispensaries are not opened inside anymore?
Well, and I mean, you know, the bud tender gives you a recommendation, right? And you have connotations of the words that they use. You know, before you came in there, you kind of had a choice of what, you know, I want an indica, sativa, and you know, maybe some brands or some products I know, like, that I've heard that are good or for bad, or brands, right? And so when the bud tender makes a recommendation, you make choices. Your choice based on that is also based on other, what have you read, what have you seen, what have you heard, you know, in the past. It's the consumer purchase is a sum of many points, you know, many different touch points. And so, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, when they look at marketing or education, they look solely at the bud tender, which is a crucial spot that shouldn't be overlooked. But even still, how is the bud tender going to know about you? And even when the bud tender tells someone about you, are they going to have heard some of the things or names or keywords or seen your brand or colors previously, and why, and what were the connotations of it then? You know, all of those things are going to go into.
It's very rare. We haven't had trainings in a while. I've been getting brands reaching out recently for us with buddies, but for the most part, it just hasn't really been a thing. And so, you know, again, this is tough. You got to really, you know, we preach a lot, you know, make content, make videos, show your things. I have them sitting right here. Why? This is the easiest way for me to get in front of 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 people for the night, however many it takes to get it out there consistently, right? And so, which great segue point, shameless plug. We've got a bunch of CBD products coming out. Mitch, we've got the melanin with melatonin, your favorite. Let them know.
Yeah, I'm having that. That is. I just threw the three up, the three for the win, man. That is the curry behind the arc for the nighttime. You know, that has been helping me sleep. I love the flavor too. But yeah, that's been crucial for me in the evenings lately.
And then we got my personal favorite, which is just the plain mango. Really tastes like a delicious mango candy chew. And then the mango chili lime, you know what I'm saying? To really, really spice things up.
Everyone's loved that so far.
That's awesome. 3 tinctures, refresh, boost, and chill. I honestly take the boost every single day. It's at that point where this is my daily.
It's a nice, bro. It's a nice flavor, and it is like, you know, the name Boost, the color on it, and I don't know. I enjoy. You know, I know we made the product, so I'm not trying to overhype it, but
I mean, we didn't create them. I mean, we you know, I've tried. You know how many? I've tried so many different tinctures.
Right. I enjoy
cannabis ones. We tried. Man, the terps and the blends that they went with they actually taste good. Peppermint, spearmint, vanilla, citrus, and then I believe this is some lavender, some vanilla,
yeah, I think lavender,
chamomile. Yeah. So, you know, big shout out to again M6 Last Mark Hubbard, 500 milligram CBD topical. We got the pre-rolls, the RMR pre-rolls. You guys tap in. RMR CBD is about to launch. We've got a couple days, maybe even this week. Mitch, what do we think?
Respectmyregion.shop will be the domain. There's nothing there, so if you go there now, there's nothing. But that will be the domain. The CBD brand, yeah, will be dropping really, really soon, before the end of the month. And everything, you know, so far we haven't sold anything, but everything that we've done through photos and given out samples, there's not one person I've given a product that hasn't asked for more of that same product.
Facts.
So that's
very, very excited. They're super dope. What do you have next on us for today's episode?
Man, oh, I was going to talk about music. You know, I made this post earlier in the week on my Facebook page talking about music videos and local artists. I had a lot of people reach out to me about that. There's honestly a couple DMs I need to still go back through. But I said that if I were a rapper right now, and a rapper at a certain position where I don't have the largest budget, I don't have a following that's already monetized, I'm not right on the cusp of signing a deal, right? I'm just a local rapper that is pushing for a bigger following, whether I'm trying to grow my Instagram, whether I'm trying to grow how many shows I get, whether I'm trying to grow my YouTube, whatever, you know, I'm trying to grow my brand. I'm trying to get fans into my world. A music video is the absolute worst use of your budget, because if all you can muster up is, you know, $2,000 to spend on your craft, when you buy a beat, go to the studio, mixing and mastering, and shoot a video, After doing all that at a pretty quality level, that might potentially eat all of your $2,000, or at the very least, I'm trying to run numbers in my head, 1,500, leaving you $500 for marketing. I think that artists should just spend money on singles, and not even always singles, but even single verses, or a verse and a hook, and make dope unique content on that, and put ad spend or pay to get on other platforms with the money for that content, as opposed to the music video. Because again, we take that $2,000 number for a very poorly budgeted marketing into a music video, but $2,000 spread across, even freestyling selfie on your phone, something that is zero mixing, $0 on the production of it. It's just your time, and then you put $100 on the ads for that. You could make 20 of those, as opposed to a single video. And I think the opportunity of doing something really unique or impressive on your cell phone there's a greater likelihood of that going viral or getting engaged with, as opposed to just a music video, even though it is of better quality. um,
Yeah.
if I have a fan base, they want to see music videos from me. But if I've never seen you before, this isn't when I was in high school, when we came home and we watched music videos for 2 hours. People are not watching music videos, let alone watching music videos to discover a new artist. They are
Yeah.
on social media and seeing little clips and sound bites. And then if something has the right awareness or catches their attention from there, then they go watch music videos or look at catalogs on Spotify. So I think, again, if you have a fan base, if you have certain elements, yes, it's good to have a good quality produced music video, but your budget is much better spent and will go much, much further if just spent on cheaper produced content that's designed for engagement.
Can't disagree. I think there's definitely a route like that definitely can apply to a lot of artists that are looking to not necessarily blow up quick, but be more strategic in terms of how their social media can perform for them. I think that there's a lot of different artists that would argue that they're not going to sacrifice the creative outlets or the traditional outlets of hip hop, which is music, music video heavy, right? Um, to just get things to better perform on social media. A lot of people just like to create the video and put it out there. But I do feel that message is mad important because, if you can pull out dope clips of your music video that would perform on ads, that's a different way to still leverage what you're saying. You can definitely, continue asking around for more videographers, more cinematographers, more directors, more photographers to figure out how to get your media and your stuff created for a cheaper price. And I'm always going to encourage that. Find the best deal and run more money on ads. Trim up some cool clips of your best verse, your catchy hook, a cool little viral moment, maybe a backflip or something dope in your video. And try running some ads, try running some Instagram clips, try running some things and just say, hey, new video just released. Let me know what you think in the comments, and then run $10, $50, $100 on things in specific cities where you're from. Great place to start. Where do you go after that, Mitch?
Man, I mean, yeah, for as far as targeting, I think making things like, if you're from a certain city, making content that's recognizable from that city, and targeting that city, and starting the first 3 seconds of the video off referencing something that all of the audience that watches that, you're going to immediately get a connection point. Because that's you're putting content online, whether I'm swiping through my story, every 3 stories I see an ad, or every 3 scrolls I see an ad. It's literally mathematical at this point, and we don't even think about that. And so how fast do you go past ads? It's literally, you have 1 second to get someone to just pause the finger movement, and then you have about 2 more seconds for them to decide if you're getting swiped, or swiped up, or if they'll check it out for a second or click the button, right? And it has to be pretty aggressive for you to be swiping and then be like, oh shit, I wasn't even looking for this. Let me go off of what I'm trying to do to check this random shit out. And that's where, again, back to that, people creating music videos, when I'm swiping through and I see a fucking music video from an artist I've never heard, not featuring an artist I don't know, my incentive of giving that more than half of a second is incredibly low. That's one of the quickest things I'm swiping through. But if it's all of a sudden, you know, like a camera just in a car, you know, some kid in a car, and he just puts the camera in super quick. So like I get my attention caught off of some flashing thing streaking across, and then he just screams or starts spitting crazy. That I might be swiping, but I might be like, oh shit, let me, you know, what is going on? And it
Yeah.
gives me my 2-3 seconds. And if it does something further, then I'll engage. And that's my process of like, you know, this type of content is better for
Yeah.
catching
I
attention.
definitely don't watch that many music videos no more, but I definitely enjoy watching unique content. I love watching, you know, freestyles or performances of some of my favorite songs from people, or you know, viral clips with their music in it. Or I like watching other people use their music. I think that's super cool. One of my favorite things is watching like sports highlights or current sports things from like ESPN or whatever. Stuff that just happened with cool music in it is just fucking dope, right? Because it's like I feel like you always have curators like that who are reposting visuals and memes or social viral whatever, and they're always looking for original music, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
I
so
love,
that is that's been super dope to see.
I'll shout off on what you're saying. There's a producer out of Portland named Golden Beats that has been putting his instrumentals on Instagram over like basketball highlights. So just
Yeah.
playing off what you're saying, I'll get caught up just watching the basketball highlights when I'm scrolling, and then I turn the sound on, and then it's just some cool ass hip hop, which I'm also a fan of. So I'm just you know what I mean? I'm just head nodding to music I like while watching the content I like. Granted, he's a producer, so he's not necessarily doing music videos, but even if that song had lyrics in it, you know, that's just something unique that you could go for, as opposed to, you know, again, filming a music video. Like just with your cell phone and no budget, there's a lot of content that you can just create that's
Oh
unique.
yeah.
And then if you do have a budget, put it into amplifying that. You know, and I think just in this realm of when you're looking to bring more people to your world, to your conversation, you need to shoot as many shots that have the potential of connecting, building a connection with people as possible, as opposed to, you know, just being like, hey, I'm a rapper, I'm on Spotify, and here's my music video. Because we've
You
seen,
can, I mean, and you can say that. There's a definite group of people that are always looking to discover new rappers on Spotify, new rappers on this. This is the new dope rapper playlist officially on whatever. Like, there's always a group of people looking for new dope stuff. But if it's, you know, we get told all the time, oh, yeah, I don't read blogs. And it's like, okay, cool. So we now make videos and we share a lot of other people's video content because that's what people watch. So now we're curators of other people's creations, which is cool because now we're tastemaking. We're literally able to help build bits and pieces of different cultures in different regions. And honestly, we're doing that right now. We are dropping what 2 to 3 cities of local hip hop every single week right now.
yeah,
We're going super hard around the country, just featuring all kinds of rappers and artists on our website, on the socials, LinkedIn, fucking everywhere. It's great.
yeah.
Killing it. Shout out all the writers, man. Shout out the whole team, man. Respect my region, baby. We're out here killing it. Let's get it.
Yeah, a lot of content across a lot of platforms right now, man. I used to have anxiety with just like Facebook and Twitter back in the day, and now there's so many platforms. It's quite crazy, man. But that's, you know, that's even more testament to what we were talking about, is that, you know, one music video is one music video, and videos really thrive on YouTube, you know, sitting as a full video, whereas this other content can be placed on every single platform, and you can use one piece to get on everything effectively. Um, so
It's
yeah,
so easy. It's so easy, you guys, to make a long form piece of content like a music video, or to make a podcast like this, right? Or to make a 3 minute long or 5 minute long pitch or showcase, or you doing something dope. Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm gonna do this, and then do it, right? And it's so easy just to trim something down or TikTok something or make a reel and then post that in other places. Use that short form content to promote the big form content. And if you do that enough, it will work over and over and over again. It will work. It might work 4 times. It might be working 7 times. It might go viral on the 10th, 12th, or 50th. Who knows, right? It took us hundreds of videos, to go viral,
yeah,
but it happened.
yeah. And it's sometimes it's on the, you know, on the stuff that you would never see coming, you know. And that's why when you, again, you know, I'm gonna keep beating that topic, but when you shoot a music video, that's something you spend a lot of time on. You put a lot of eggs in that basket, and knowing a lot of your best hits, a lot of your things that go the furthest are the things you didn't plan on it. It just happened for whatever reason. It happened, and so you need to be shooting your shots, man, to hit a Hail Mary, because
Facts.
that's what it takes to go viral, to get seen, to get plays, to get your stuff out there. It's not just calculation; it's calculation, and a little bit of luck, man. And when luck's involved, it's a numbers game.
Hey Jesse, can I get some? Can you get some papers? I just used the last one, unfortunately.
I'm out of papers, so I mean,
Out
I
of
guess
papers.
and that's about it. You know, we're out of topics. J Ping's out of papers. I think that'll probably do it for this week, man. Unless you got anything else.
You know, anything else? Yeah, tap into the website. We just did a bunch of educational articles for music artists. So any of the artists who end up tuning in, watching this, you guys go check out the RMR Region website. Scroll down and look through the past couple, last 2 weeks or so. There's a bunch of articles. If you just read through and then sponge in some of that, soak in some of that game, and then apply that to your YouTube videos, apply that to your Spotify things. We got a couple articles this week. There's Apple playlist opportunities, Spotify playlist opportunities, PR opportunities to pitch you to get on other websites. You name it, man. There's a lot of people that we know that are trying to work and do more things. This pandemic is all about connecting people digitally. And so we created this podcast to connect people for music and cannabis and marketing. So if you do things and you want to get it in front of more people, whether it's in music and cannabis or CBD or your own entrepreneurship world, whatever it is that you do, please leverage us. Drop a comment below, like, follow, subscribe. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the places. And then if you need to learn cannabis, please tap into our YouTube. We will be launching some educational series. I'll be talking through a variety of topics over the next month or so. And then we'll also be doing, like we talked about, I'm going to launch my own kind of version of Versus, where we basically buy 2 of the top products at various dispensaries and we see which one is better right here, right now, live on camera. It's going to be dope. So you guys got to tune in, tap in. We're going to get creative. We're going to review weed. We're going to talk music. I love you guys.